Hello, my sweetie pies. Hello, my glitter people. Good morning. Hello. I am clearing out the space so that I can knock some stuff over so that I can do the next bit on our um what month are we in? May. On our May crawfish boils. The 4 little crawfish boils we're doing. So, getting my ducks in a row. So, what I did in the last session. Sorry, that sweeping sound I bet is awful. What I did in the last session was I got a coat of silver on these two girls, these little cute ankle boots. And these were going to be the two that were going to be the boil pots, where the shoe itself is the boil pot and you fill it with crawfish and you do like some flames and you do a little seasoning pouring in. And that's really cute for anything where you're cooking. You can do a pot of red beans, you can do a pot of gumbo, you can do anything that you're cooking. Really cute to do it that way. But so I glittered these in DEA badge silver, and I don't know if y'all can tell, they came out so smooth and perfect, and it's just such a perfect surface for a bunch of nice big transfer work. So this pair, I'm actually going to take and paint white and then glitter. This is probably going to be, we're going to probably do some ladies of the 80s stuff. Next month. So we're going to do some fun neon rainbow vibes next month. So these are actually going to get reassigned. So that means we need 2 new boots to take their place because we are doing 4. I keep finding this one in my scrap pile and putting it back because I don't want to use it. This is what do you call a bounty hunter who likes bubble tea, and it's Boba Fett drinking a boba tea. I know y'all can't see it because it's flipped, but I find that so cute and I don't want to. All right, this is fine. This is math homework. That's good scrap paper. Okie dokie. Hey, baby girl. Okie dokie. Let me put some boots up here before Fanny gets ideas. So I have this one in my stash that I actually already put a first coat of silver on. So hopefully y'all can trust me that that's, the process looked like it looked when I put a coat of silver on the other boots. And I have this one, which is kind of a funky boot, but I think it'll be cool when I put the flames up I like to, when I do the pot, I like to draw some flames, like the pot is really hot and going. So all we need to do is stiffen her up a little bit. Hey, Fanny. So let's get her prepped. And then we will put the next coat of red on our little crawfishes. We've got about 31, which may be more than we need, but better to have more than we need rather than less. And also our little shrimps are done. So we can work on we can finish our po boy. That'll be nice. It'd be good to have po boy finished. And as I was digging through, finding stuff and organizing, which I'm trying to do at regular intervals, because this year I didn't really do my full hard reset because I kind of wanted to get going because it's not kind of a short carnival. It's very much a short carnival. So what I've done here is I just cut the laces out of her and I don't need to do a full reinforcement because I am going to put some stuff in her, but I'm going to put a couple bags so that she's a little smushy. So I just want to de-smushy her a bit. Technical term. This one is nice and firm. I don't need to do anything to her. She's just ready to go as is. But this one I'm going to stuff a little bit. I know some muses do the what do you call it? The like spray insulation foam inside their boots. I have never really tried that, so I can't even weigh in on that. Hey, Fanny. Say hi, girly. Hey, sweetie. Y'all probably can't see Fanny. Hey. But knowing her, she will wander in and out. So I'm sure Fanny will be here to say hi to her adoring fans soon. All right. So a little stuffing gets that good. And then I cut the shoelaces out because I don't really want to deal with them. But that means that I need to glue this back together so that it has a good shape. Ooh, and I need to be careful because hot glue is hot. So that's a little lumpy, but we're going to continue to reshape it by gluing it in place. And a little lumpy is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm sure everybody, if you went over to someone's house and their crawfish boil pot had seen some things and was a little dinged up, I don't think you would be anything other than even more excited to eat those crawfish. I think a pot that has seen some use is probably a good sign. Trying to decide if I want to put a plastic cup in there. Do I want to? I'm also trying to decide if I want a piece of duct tape over the whole thing here so I don't even have to mess with that. But I'm leaning towards not. I cannot imagine wanting to put the laces back in, but it might be cute to do that. I am going to reinforce her just a bit. Oh, my razor is in a different room. So I very carefully, I'm going to poke a hole in this Mardi Gras cup. And I would usually do that with my square razor blade, but she's in the other room because I was doing a little bit of mini sculpting while hanging out with my little dudes last night. Mhm. Okay. You have a good size? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thank you all for bearing with me as I figure this out. It's always a little bit of guesswork. It's never an exact formula. But the more you do it, the more experience you have to draw on, and that helps. Let me put this cup in. Oh, that's okay. This way the boot is nice and strong. Perfect. So can you all see we cut a Mardi Gras cup and now we glue it in. And normally I don't need to do that when I'm doing a boil pot because as I'm going to show y'all, I put a whole bunch of filler to make the effect like it's actively boiling as opposed to passively boiling. Like it's bubbly. And that usually does a lot of the work of holding the shape. But since this one is such a squishy boot and it's kind of a little tall, I went ahead and, why not? Might as well do the thing. And I think that will give me the shape I want, give me the stability I want, give me the structure I want. With a little bit of that kind of prep, and I sometimes call it shoe surgery, with a little bit of that kind of, I say like preparation, but the preparation is part of the shoe. By preparation, I mean the steps you do before you get out the glue and the glitter, but a little bit of that prep. See, isn't that a nice silhouette? I should have taken like a before and after. She's just not, now she's just got a nicer shape now that she's reinforced and stuffed. Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. And she might continue to need a little hot glue here. How are we looking there? I'm trying to like hold the tongue flat without burning my hands. I do that. And I don't want to lose any of her shaping, but I'm just going to do a little bit more hot glue. Just, yeah, like that. Where the lacings hit the tongue, I'm going to do that. And this is going to be a beautiful boot to go ahead and, hi, Fanny. Fanny will entertain you while I hold this. Fanny, Fanny, Fanny. That's a lot of Fanny real close to the camera. Fanny, come here. People don't want to see people want the pretty half of you, not the back half of you. If they want anything at all, Fanny, which is a big if. Okay. I know some of y'all are fans of seeing Fanny. No pun intended. All right. And, I don't have a ton of say in where Fanny goes. There are definitely days where I come in here and I'm like, oh, I kind of wanted to get work done today, but Fanny's kind of in the spot and I don't really feel like moving her. And that's my fault. That's not Fanny's fault. Okay, so our boot is nice and reinforced. She's got a really pretty silhouette now. Loving that. And that did not take us long, just 10 minutes. And now we've got a good base. All right. Wait. Where's my glue? It's back here. Glue. Reminder, Mod Podge mixed with Aleene's. That's gonna be the goat. Alrighty, and then I just cleaned my brushes. Nice soft conditioned brushes. If you've never used the Master Brush Cleaner, I'm gonna be a used car salesman for a minute and tell y'all we carry it at Craft Culture. A painter customer introduced us to it. It is so good. All right, so we're gonna make this the boil pot. I wonder if we should do the boil pot. I said I do the boil pot. No, we're gonna do everything silver. It's fine. Well, we're gonna do the first coat silver and we're gonna see how we feel about a darker boil pot. Because a nice bright silver, how about I do a nice bright silver on this one because it's looks very strong, and I do a more gunmetal one on this one because she's got a little more character. So that's going to be the brand spanking new, shiny boil pot. And this one's going to be the one that has seen some things and has some miles on her. And we'll see how we feel about both of them. And then these are both going to be suspensions. And of course, my little pumps are going to be suspensions. Oh, I realized I pulled the wrong number of jars. That's okay. We'll get started where we get started and we'll catch up where we catch up. As always. Okay. Yeah, she's got some dings in her, but. And normally on a boot, I would put my hand in here and do oh, I actually probably can do that and do the whole thing. I was going to say, since she's kind of big, I might hold her by the heel and do her sort of in a more traditional fashion. Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to hold her by the heel and do her in a more traditional fashion. By which I mean using the heel. By traditional, I mean using the heel as the handle, not putting my whole hand in the boot. But you can do that sometimes with boots, and it does save you a little bit of time. But we're doing okay for time. We only have to do 4 shoes this month, and that's not nothing, but also we got that. And we picked a pretty cooperative shoe design. I have done many, many crawfish boil throws. I kind of know how they go. It would be cute to I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna think about whether or not I'm gonna put a fake lace in there. I might. I might. Okay. There she blows. That is silver. That's my mix. I'm just gonna put this as of my base silver because I know I'm gonna put more on top of it. I guess I could have done swords before lords from the jump. That's all right. Since I always do top coats, since I always do 2 coats, a base coat and then a coat that goes on the base coat, a first coat and a second coat. I always do 2 coats. How about that? I try to use something that I don't necessarily I try to save the good stuff for the top, the the good stuff for the second coat. And so I try to use a color that maybe I'm not as enamored with. Stuff from my old stash. Little by little, I'm replacing everything with craft culture for a variety of reasons. Obviously, I stand behind the quality of craft culture. I'm biased in that way. But also, if I make something and someone's like, "Hey, what color did you use?" I feel like it's not helpful if I say, "Oh, this discontinued thing from 8 years ago." That does not feel helpful. So, it's partly driven by my, pride in my own product, I guess I would say, but also a little bit driven by utility. I'm not going to tell y'all, oh, go out and hunt this thing down and buy it on eBay or whatever. I'm going to try to use stuff that I can recommend because I know what's on the shelves. Okay. And by and large, I try not to use like the limited edition stuff because who knows when you're watching this, if that's even still available. So I try to use regular inventory stuff. I'm not perfect and I kind of if I've got something on, it's a balance. I'm trying to use up what I have in the interest of like efficiency and economy and all that. All right. She's not looking like much yet, but she's going to be super duper cute once we do her in like a gunmetal color and we fill her up with crawfish. Who isn't cute filled up with crawfish? Just saying. Okay, my smooth girls, I'm gonna set aside, I'm gonna paint those later. Those are gonna be our, those are gonna be our Lisa Frank girls, some neon rainbow girls. Okay, so these, let's do the crawfish first because they're fiddly. Well, no, I've got all the silver out. Don't mind me, y'all. Just figuring out the order of operations is its own thing. Okay, so she's gonna be silver. Yeah, I'm trying to decide where I want to grip her. Hmm. She would also take a transfer pretty well because she's a nice big surface area, but we're not going to do that for now. If I feel like it, I can make a crawfish boil transfer that says like, let's get cray or feed me crawfish and tell me I'm pretty, which are both things that I like to write on my throws because I love a pun so very much. I did a mule one year my mom had this print framed in her house and it was a little mule and it said, no, 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 all over the mule. And it said stubborn mule. And I made one of those like 3D one year. I made a little stubborn mule. I painted it white and glittered it white and then wrote no all over it. It looked just like the print. And then I kind of was on the route and I'm like, who out there looks like they would appreciate a dad joke in shoe form? And I hope that I found a good recipient for it. You never really know. That's part of the mystery. I do enjoy hearing from people like, oh, I caught one of your shoes, but like mostly they kind of go out into the world and wherever they go, there they are. And that's part of the mystery. I know some muses who like sign theirs and put little cards in theirs that are like, this is a throw made by this person and this is my handle and I'd love to hear from you. And I think sometimes they do, but I kind of like a little mystery. I kind of like people to not know exactly who threw what. Okay, so this is my mix of DEA badge silver with Sail On Silver Girl. And I don't know if I've ever told y'all like this name background behind those names. I mean, I'm sure I've told some of y'all because I do be repeating myself. But at Craft Culture, it's very important to us that the glitters have extremely distinctive names. And the reason for that is not just a displaced desire to be a nail polish namer. Because I think everybody's dreamed of that. Uh, It's because we have so many colors. We have over 100 different shades of glitter at Craft Culture, a lot of which are exclusive to us, things that we personally formulate, mix, develop, um, and then spec. And if you have, 8 different shades of gold, you can't be like, oh, light gold, medium gold, dark gold, antique gold. The names need to be distinctive. So if somebody says, "Oh, I bought a blue, but I can't remember if it was medium blue or light blue," if the name is a little wacky, it sticks with you more. And so that helps us say, "Okay, did you start this with atomic pineapple or did you start this with sunflowers?" Like you're telling me it's an extra fine color shift, but let's see if we can figure it out. And that just helps us do our detective work a little bit. Ooh, pretty. So this is DEA badge silver and Sail on Silver Girl, which is I use it a lot. This is what I used on my pizza slices. This is what I use a lot of the time. And to me, it's just the prettiest, like silver, like true silver. The lighting isn't great in here today, but you kind of get the gist. Um, DEA badge silver is named because when we opened Craft Culture, we were buying a ton of little bags and a ton of little scales. Because we were packaging a bunch of small things and we were weighing glitter. And, at Craft Culture, we weigh all of our glitter by, a human being weighs all of the glitter. That is not automated. That is not done by a machine. A human being is weighing your glitter. And that way, because we get frustrated if it's done by volumes, because that feels a little That feels not the best way to, for us, in our minds, that is not the best way to organize your glitter. So we weigh it. So we had a bunch of little scales and a bunch of little bags and just a lot of paraphernalia that maybe is associated with a different line of work than selling glitter, if you will. And so we were like, man, any minute now the DEA is gonna be knocking at our door. I think it would be funny if we had a color ready for them and said, this one's in your honor. And so DEA badge silver. That's a little homage to the us noticing that the optics of the situation weren't terrific when we first opened. And then Sail On Silver Girl is a lyric from a song. It's from I think it's Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's a Simon and Garfunkel song. Sail On Silver Girl. And it was something that my mother used to say to us. It was like, you go, girl, like, good for you. She'd be like, sail on, silver girl. And so every time I use it, I think about my mom. So that's the story of that. I wonder if that maybe is part of why I love it, but some of them we come to an answer pretty quickly, like, oh, yeah, that's definitely what that is. And then sometimes it's like we think about it for a while. Mm. But it's always a little wacky. Okay. Looking good. So I did the second coat on one of my boil boots, the first coat on my second boil boot, where the pot is for boiling. And now I'm doing the second silver coat on the pumps. I'm going to go ahead and do red on the heel and the sole of these. The red will sort of pick up the color of the crawfish and make it nice and pretty. But also, I think it's just fun. I love putting a red sole on a shoe for obvious reasons. I think it's, especially if it's something a little bit, if it's a humbler theme like a crawfish boil, there's something to me very funny about, not funny exactly. There's something that really resonates for me about combining crawfish red with red bottoms. That, you know, that's fun in my brain. Like champagne and fried chicken. Just a good combo of fancy and good. All right. Okay. So she's getting the mix of DEA badge silver and Sail on Silver Girl. The first batch did not have any confetti in it. So that's how I know. That's if I'm doing a big batch of shoes, I can keep track. I only put the confetti in my final coat. And so if I look at a shoe, I can tell, even if I can't see the bald spots or the uneven areas, which is usually a giveaway for a first coat versus a second coat. And it's not the end of the world to put a third coat on top of a second coat, but it's probably not needed. And so you don't want to stress yourself out too much. If you're sitting staring at shoes and you really cannot tell and you're like, forget it, I'm just going to slap another coat of glitter on all these to be sure they're actually done and not patchy. Nothing wrong with that. But in general, if you can keep track and do exactly two coats, no more, no less, it's a little more efficient. Pretty pretty. So you probably can't tell in this light, but this is one coat, this is two coats. Maybe a little bit you can tell. See how the first coat just isn't quite as continuous and smooth? And the second coat is so beautiful and continuous and smooth? At least to me, you do you. Okay. Sail on, Silver Girl. All right. A lot of stuff at the glitter store has like snippets of pop culture references. A lot of them are, very New Orleans. You've got like Cafe au lait and stuff, things that are, and like gumbo zerbe and boeuf gras, and I'm trying to think the New Orleans ones. Louis' first horn. So we definitely have a lot of New Orleans references in there. Blue crab and nectar snowball. We did a whole series, of course, of New Orleans foods, which is where Gumbo Z comes from and where Boeuf Gras comes from. Those come from the cookbook series. So, of course, those are very New Orleanian, and Sazerac. Um, and then we have a lot that are a little bit, like girl power. We love to have like references to powerful and inspiring women in our glitter names. And of course, we just finished May is the last month of the Women of New Orleans subscription. So that was very fun. We often try to do kind of girl powered stuff, but especially for that series. All right. I did cut some straps off of these shoes. Y'all maybe remember that was the last session. I just, with a straight razor, took some straps off of these. So that's fine and good. I have a few little bumpies, but I'm going to cover them up with trim when I get to that portion of the project. But yeah, one of the side effects of so many pop culture references in the glitter names is sometimes I'll be mixing or doing inventory and I will get a song stuck in my head. I'll be walking around singing Sondheim, or I sure get Country Roads in my head when we restock Country Roads. We've got Ponchatoula Strawberry Fields. So I certainly get Strawberry Fields stuck in my head. All right. Do, 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 do. Towards the end of the jar, I'm noticing more little contaminants, but that's no biggie. I take a pin and I just move them. A few little strays snuck in there. Even when you're being clean, it happens. Things that are made by hand have those little imperfections, and it's up to you what you fix, what you roll with, what's going to bug you and what's not. If it's going to bug you, feel free to fix it. But if it's not going to bug you, then you are allowed to be gentle with yourself and, gifts to drunk people. Nothing wrong with a little perspective. And I was talking once at the store. I was like, I don't worry too much about the imperfections. Things that are made by hand have imperfections, the Persian rugs with the one strand and blah, blah, blah. And someone in the store was like, but you don't feel that. We don't really feel that way. And I was like, I really do. My level of execution is going to be different because I've been doing it a long time, not because I'm more persnickety. And there are many things that we let slide. As I hope is coming across in the context of me doing this, I hope y'all are getting a sense for being nice to yourself. I hope that's coming across, because I find in creative endeavors, people can be extremely hard on themselves. And one of the nice things about Mardi Gras throws, because they are gifts, is it's a great excuse to be nice to yourself if you aren't usually nice to yourself about things that you make with your own two human hands. All right, so both of those have their top coat of silver. In the next session, we are going to, oh, I don't have my fried chicken. That's what I don't have. That's okay. That's okay. We will figure that out. Ba, 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 ba. So I have a little bit of this red that I'm going to put in the pepperoni mix, because I still have some pepperonis to do, because I'm doing a bunch of extracurricular pizza, which reminds me, I did so much extracurricular pizza. I have a couple of slices for sale only to muses. So please be aware that I can only sell shoes to muses as throws. So I get very, very frequently, maybe not very frequently. I sound incredibly fat headed, don't I? Oh, stop. Don't ask me for, but I do get requests to buy shoes, which is understandable. They're little objects of beauty and objects of art. And in general, if you see art online and you like it, you're going to reach out to the artist and ask if you can buy the art. That makes sense. No tea, no shade. I do not sell Muse's shoes I believe that the only way to get a Muse's shoe should be from a Muse. So if a Muse gifts you one, I think that's great. If like you're a local business and you've got Muse's shoes on the wall, I know that you're good people and a lot of Muses love you. Um, Taking my shrimps off. What was I saying? Oh, but I feel pretty strongly that you shouldn't be, that the only way to get a Muse's shoe should be from a Muse, either gifted or from the float, or, that to me is an important piece of the magic, that they come, that some things you cannot be bought because they are special and gifted. That being said, I think the exchange of shoes amongst Muses, that I think is, some Muses like to throw shoes but don't necessarily want to make them. I think that's totally a part of the flow of whatever. So I am only allowed to sell Muses shoes to Muses as throws. So I do have some extracurricular pizza if you are a Muse. But please be aware that if you are not a Muse, I love you, but I cannot sell to you. I can occasionally gift them, and I have a little virtual shoe toss going on my Patreon at the moment, and I do view virtual shoe tosses from time to time. I think that's quite fun. So I'm just going to fill in the rest of the shrimps. And I did, in my digging find, I had actually already started a bottle of Barks. So that's my po' boy with a little bottle of Barks, and I'm going to add some shrimps to her. Okay. So fun. Let me just shrimp her out real quick, glitter her, and then I shouldn't have pooled my red glitter. That's okay. We can use Solo Cup Red for the lettering on her. I don't usually use something with chunky stuff mixed in for the lettering on stuff, but if it's got a little extra spice in it, I think that's fine. I think that's all good. Yeah, she's looking much more stuffed and full and lovely. And as a reminder, I do have these packing peanuts for free at Craft Culture in the kit room, in the inspiration station. You can just pop in there and there are bags in there. Usually, if we're out, we're out, and more is coming because we have no shortage of packing peanuts, and we're trying to do sustainable things with packing peanuts, because you gotta do what you can. But usually we do have them, and if we don't, more is coming. So that's the little packing peanut shrimp is, to me, a great way to drop in some floor. Is a great way to use something that was headed for a landfill in a way that is clever and creative and repurposes it. So I think I'm gonna drop some things. I think I'm gonna cut a few of these in half so that the po' boy can be overfilled. So I'm gonna put some down here. Yeah, like she's I'm getting excited and dropping a lot. My dexterity is crap when I'm excited. Fun fact about me. All right. So this po' boy is full to the point of, a friend and I were talking. I'm like, my God, I haven't had a Parkway po' boy in so long. And they were like, I can bring you one on Saturday because I have back-to-back classes on Saturday. And when I tell you, that's like one of the nicest things. Bringing me food at the shop is always much appreciated. Well, not always much appreciated. I say that and people are going to be showing up. Occasionally, it is a very nice treat. Okay. So we're almost filled in. Oh yeah, that's really fun. I like a little bit of overflow on the shrimp. I think that's cute. And I may have to touch some of these shrimps up because I cut them in half, and that sort of creates, yeah. So I'm gonna have a po' boy this weekend is what I'm gonna do. And I'm excited about it. Whew. All right, where's the one that I dropped? Because I think I just need one more little guy. But that's much better. Look how she's overflowing. Yeah. Okay, and then Just one right there, and I think she's perfect. Do I want to do? I'm gonna cut her in half. As you get kind of towards the end, you maybe have to do a little bit of creative jigsaw puzzling to make everything fit. And so there's maybe a little bit of snippy here and there, just a little snips. Smaller and smaller little bits getting snipped in. Do. I don't want it to look like the shrimp. I want the shrimp to look big and beautiful, so I don't want it to look too chopped up, but I want it to look nice and full. Okay. Okay. Last little bit. Heck yeah! Shrimp po' boy! Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. All right. So I've got my little barks. Do I wanna? I do wanna. I wanna. So I did this in, I'm pretty sure, Bittersweet Symphony. It's been a little while. I obviously had this idea already because I found a little barks bottle that I started. I'm trying to decide if it makes sense to do her in Guinness because the barks is that dark, but that would be. Should I do her in Guinness and not? I might. It's going to be hard to get the glue all the way in there, but we probably will do. Nah, Bittersweet Symphony's fine. If you were doing it from scratch, I would say maybe do a little Guinness if you have it in your stash. But Bittersweet Symphony is fine. We don't need to get too precious. All right, and I've got some red. Nope, I don't. I pulled the tip off too aggressively. All right. I might be tempting fate a little doing this, but that's all right. Sometimes we tempt fate. I'm just gonna write muses. Whoop. Nope, I'm not. That's okay. So I made a bad choice there. I knew that bottle wasn't cooperative and I risked it. So I have a little smudge there. No problem. We'll touch it up. That's what I get. Oh, I actually, you know what, guys? I actually have some red Muses transfers because I made some red Muses transfers for my little berry basket. So maybe I'll put a transfer on her. What do we think about that? Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Who are you? All right. We've got some little red transfers. We can put a transfer on her. That's what we're going to do. All right. Do we have toothpicks? Got a couple little toothpicks. So, yeah. Yeah. And then do I have E6000? I thought I just had a tube. Are you my mother? No? Yeah. Whew, please enjoy an hour of me making surprised noises, but then not actually finding things. I'm just gonna get a little scrap plastic. I'm gonna drop things. I'm just gonna get a little scrap plastic. And then I think I might make a transfer for the Barks bottle. You know how those glass Barks bottles say drink Barks, it's good. I think I just want to write drink. I'm going to do Muses in the blue and then 2027 in the white so that it's kind of evokes it. Does that make sense? And I am also going to put Muses on top of the bun. Okay. Got my M peeled. Little puddle of. And if you are coming to my transfers class tomorrow, I can't wait to see you. Transfers is one of my very favorite workshops that I do, so should be a good time. I mean, of course, I love all my classes in different ways, but transfers to me is the most like informative. All right, I put a little glue on the back of my M. I'm gonna put my M on the po' boy. And I think there's a way to flip the camera so it doesn't all look mirrored, but I haven't figured that out yet, so I can't do that. And then ooses. Switch to a fresh. When a transfer is dry, it peels cleanly. Okay. Boop. Mhm. I don't know. It's hard to see, I know, but I'm just putting glue on the back of my transfer. I like E6000. Different people use different glues. I'm learning to use the B7000. A lot of people really love that because it's thinner and comes with the little needle tip bottle that people really vibe with. I just haven't quite made that transition quite yet. I'm still kind of used to my E6000. Okay. Oh, pretty baby. Pretty little baby. I'm so in love with you. Okay. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Just a delicate little hot sauce, little brr. Love that. I kind of want to put some sesame seeds on her. And I kind of just haven't decided if I'm gonna. And now I guess I could I could dot a couple little sesame seeds. I could do a couple. And by sesame seeds, I mean the little confetti dots, not the rhinestones, though we of course have both. I'm at a place in my life where I have both rhinestones that look like everything bagel seasoning and confetti that looks like sesame seeds in a muffalata loaf. Because I'm making good choices. All right. Thank you all for bearing with me. This was not even on the agenda today, but we're getting it done. And then this is done. And then let's see. So I've got my 20. This will put me at 20. But I am also going to I'm doing my shoe toss. So I'm going to be at, 19, but that's okay. And then I'm doing 4 this month, which puts me to 23. So I will have 1 to catch up. No problem with that. Maybe I'll do no, I'm good. I'm good on what I'm doing. I'm going to get started getting my fancy pants. Next month, I would like to do berry baskets or, farm baskets because I want to do some other stuff. I want to do eggs. I want to do veggies. I'm not quite sure what all is going to be on the berry agenda. I've been liking making 7s. I've been making some very ornate, swirly 7s. You the right size? I'm gonna take you. Yeah, I'm gonna take you. You can ask the flowers. All right. All right, what time is it? 9:21. We're doing great. We've put the glitter on our 2 boots and 2 pumps, 2 heels. He. That's so nice. I like it so much. Gosh, I should be more disciplined about using transfers because I love them so much when I do them. All right, let me see if I can do a couple little sesame seeds. This is a crazy way to do it. I should have layered them in like confetti. That's pretty fun though. Just a few little sesame seeds. Oh, I do like that. I know that French bread for a po' boy doesn't usually have seeds on it, but there's all different types of things and, Telling. All right, let me move this transfer out of the way. I keep when I'm done, I keep the sheet just in case I need it, like I just needed it for this. All right. Excuse me. I am a lot better, but still not like a million%. So whew, every once in a while, I still kind of, though that might just be May. May is very tiring if you got, for everyone, but especially if you've got school-aged children. Lizette calls it Maycember because it feels like the end of the year again, where you're doing end of the year stuff. And just while I'm here dotting a few little sesame seeds on her just to make her perfect. And by perfect, I mean, perfect in the eyes of her mother, not perfect in the sense of making yourself go bananas. All right, so I'm going to dot these on there, and then we're going to glitter our crawfish. We did our first coat of glitter on the crawfish last time. We did 31. We're going to do that again. I'm trying to space out the sesame seeds in a way that isn't like too regular. That is always a challenge for me. Part of me wants to be like, do, lining everything up in neat little rows. But if you do that, it doesn't look as lifelike. So I don't know if y'all can see because it's kind of not a terrific angle, but what I'm doing right now is just taking a little dot of glue on my toothpick. I'm picking up my dots and dotting them on. So I touch the glue to the dot and then I flip it over and kind of roll it on. That's really cute. That's so cute. And it would have been much smarter to do this during the glittering phase and layered just a little sprinkle of the dots on with the confetti technique. Can y'all see I have seated that strap, but not this one. But, nobody's got a crystal ball. Everybody's doing the best they can, figuring out as they go. Nothing wrong with that. And I looked at this and I was like, I think it'll look better if the strap is just slightly distinctive. If I just make the strap pop just a little bit. So I'm going to do this kind of nutty thing where I place individual flakes of confetti. People very frequently ask me, how long do you spend on a shoe? And it's like, I don't even know how to count because, like, sometimes I know what I'm doing and I do it start to finish and, like, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes I try something and then I try something else and then I like the first thing I did better, so I go back to the first thing and then I realize I should have done something, so I try to fix it, and the way that I fix it takes longer than if I had just done it right in the first place. That's the nature of making stuff, I think. As best I can tell. All right. But this is looking quite good. So yeah, next month I want to do berry baskets and I want to do ladies of the 80s. We're going to do some 80s rainbow vibes. I was looking at like nihilistic Lisa Frank, where it's like Lisa Frank artwork and then like funny things written on them. And that is really funny. I don't know if I need to think about what I can like get away with is the wrong word because I'm not trying to break any rules. I need to decide like what's in line with the aesthetic. I obviously, there are rules, of course, about your throws, things that you can and cannot throw. And so I don't want to do anything even close to. I'm a rule follower in general, and I especially want to be respectful of, the regulations of the crew. Always. Okay. Almost done with this little detour, this little scenic route that we took towards this one being finished. And I do still need to, when everything's dry, I will put the little Muses 2026 in the blue and the white. But right now there's a bunch of wet glue here, so if I did that, I would be nervous about like cross-contaminating. I just don't want any crosstalk of that type. Though next month we will be doing, if we're doing some 80s fun stuff, we will definitely be doing, or was it 90s? Was Lisa Frank 90s? I guess it was. If I'm a I was born in the 80s and I was into Lisa Frank, it would have been the 90s. So that is, childhood aesthetic, 80s, 90s. We don't need to get too bogged down into who's where and what, but rainbow aesthetic. Okay. So she is done except for me writing Muses and 2027 in white and blue respectively. But come on, brain, you can do it. I see comments while I am filming and my brain won't like. Okay. She is done, except she needs 2027 and Muses. I might make a transfer. Can I just do the blue part? Let me see. Okay, so I have got this, I'm pretty sure is Blue Jay. I think that's a good. So I'm going to be very, very careful to write Muses. So that it kind of looks like a Barks bottle. And I'm going to be so careful. I'm going to be so careful. Yeah. Looks like a Barks bottle, or it will once I put the white in there. Drink Barks, it's good. Okay. Put my little black tube away so that I have it when I need it. I was making unicorn faces for the unicorn kit. The unicorn kit has restocked. I need to put those numbers online. But the unicorn kit has restocked, so that's very exciting. All right, I'm going to set this aside so that can dry. I'm going to do the white, and then she's done. Yay! Yay, yay. Put her over there where I can admire her beauty. She really is cute. I really do love a flip-flop po' boy. That is very fun. Boop. Got a little bit of stuff in there. That's okay. She's mostly good. Okay. Last thing is we are going to finish glittering our crawfish. That's the last step that we have today. Oh, I was going to maybe do the boil pots. We'll do the boil pots next time or I don't know, maybe we'll do boil pots. Who knows? Okay, so these are all the girls that we glittered last time. We pinched the tail, we glittered everywhere else. So now what we do, I've got my solo cup, even though I would say Boil Master is probably like my #1 pick, but I also love solo cup, so that's a good choice. This brush needs a little more conditioning. You can't always tell who needs more conditioning right away, but I'll put her in the needs more conditioning pile. She's good. She's nice. Nice soft girl. Okay. So what we're going to do now, can y'all see? Let me angle the camera. Oh, that's a million times better. I should have had it like that the whole time. Sorry, guys. Hopefully y'all could see a little bit or at least hear me describing what was going on. And again, we're all figuring it out as we go, myself very much included. So last time we held it by the tail and we did the front, we glittered, we let it dry. So now we've got a crawfish that has one coat of glitter, but its little tail is naked. So now we're going to hold by the claws and do the whole thing over again. The claw where we're holding it, we obviously don't put any glue. So we get everybody else and we make extra especially sure that we get the tail because we didn't get the tail at all when we did the first coat. So now when that dries, what you have is a crawfish that is mostly double coated and has one spot on its claw and one spot on its tail that is technically one coated. But it works. It's all glittery. Okay, set her there. So we're going to do that same thing 30 times. Getting the crawfish glittery is definitely fiddly. So I totally understand if you want to just use the crawfish as they come. They are shiny, they are metallic. So it's not as though you're losing too much, but I do think making the crawfish glittery makes it special. Okay. Okay. And I do kind of check and see if one claw got a little bit less glitter than the other, I hold it by the more glittery claw. And you do want to get all the way around because when they go in the pot, sometimes if I'm glittering like pepperonis, I'm like, don't worry too much about the bottom side because you're going to glue that down and not see it. On these little crawfish, you're going to see all the way around. So try to get all the spots because you don't want to, and you can sort of pay attention when you're filling. You can kind of check and be like, this spot should probably be facing downward. Mhm. And like absolute worst case scenario, and this has definitely happened to me, you put it together and you're like, oh, whoops, that little tail is sticking right up and it's right in the front and it's very visible and I can see a bald spot. It's okay to do touch-ups, never be ashamed of a touch-up if you feel like you want it. I would just be careful to make sure the touch-up doesn't get done while anything else is wet. I like my little po' boy. Crawfish and po' boys, ain't life good? Okay. I do a lot of food themed shoes. And at first, I thought that was a symptom of being pregnant when I was pregnant 12 years ago. Um, but I think it's just I love food, and New Orleans is such a foodie culture. So I think those are themes that I tend to go to. I also kind of like the challenge. Making food glittery it's a balance. You want it to look realistic, but not gross. You want it to be sparkly, but still register as what it is. So like I don't glitter the potatoes because I just don't think they look like anything once they're glittered. They just look like little lumps of glitter. But that glittered. It's lovely. You see how Solo Cup has that extra sparkle? Very fun. Whew. 2, 4, 6. We're like 20% of the way there, but who's counting? Good things take time, and so we are going to spend it. And currently, I'm speaking of being nice to yourself about not having a crystal ball and everyone's figuring it out. I am getting a little bit better, but not amazing at making sure that stuff is in stock before I start demoing it. But I will have the crawfish boil kits back in stock Tuesday. So that's on me. But I will do it. We have a lot of the a la carte stuff, but so I've got the post kind of put together with all the links, and then Tuesday I will restock and I'll put the post up. And then if you're on my Patreon, I'm doing a virtual shoe toss, and that is for you do not have to be paid. Any Patreon follower, you do not have to have pledged money to participate, just like the actual experience of Carnival. It is like a regular toss, it is just free, just virtual. So like a toss, it is free. Okay. Looking good, looking good. And so to be in the virtual shoe toss, you just pop your hands in the air in the comments, by which I mean comment, but also it's cute if you put the little hands up emoji. Any comment counts. And then on Monday, I'm going to pick someone at random, and it'll be either a ring box or the cheeseburger that we did on the live. So that's if you enjoyed watching them done, that's a fun memento. Okay. Holding it by the more glittered claw so that I can get the glitter on the less glittered claw if it needs it. And it helps that the crawfish are already shiny red, so like it's kind of forgiving. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Third of the way there. Keep on keeping on. And of course, you can put on a good background TV show you like or album you like, and you can just vibe out with that. I'm vibing out with y'all, so that makes it move a little bit. All right. And then today, I need to get prepped for my classes tomorrow and work on a restocks. That's going to be my day. Okay. And my kids are almost out of school, so I don't know how that's going to impact my filming schedule. I say as if I keep to a schedule. I do try to look at like, all right, I have classes tomorrow and I have a social engagement tonight, so I should probably get a little done. It's been really, I know I'm a broken record, but it's been really helpful to have like a little goal each month. It helps me know kind of where I am because I'm working on stuff all the time, but a lot of it's for the shop or for, separate project for a friend. Um, so it's kind of hard to know, but if I break it down as I have broken it down into about 6 a month for 10 months, that really has helped me feel. I had a science teacher in middle school who was like, you can't eat a pot roast all in one bite. You got to like cut it up and take little bites. So you got to be studying little bits throughout the year. And I was like, man, what do you know about anything? But he was also 100% right. So, but when you're that age, oof, you don't want to be told things that are right. You want to be contentious. I was not a very contentious child, but still, maybe internally, my inner monologue was contentious. All right. Okie dokies. Mhm. All right. That is my first tray. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Halfway there. Into the dehydrator she goes. You are in the way, so I'm going to move you. I don't want to get any red glitter on you. All right. And then I keep looking at those boots and thinking, okay, I need to take those to the shop and paint them white. And it's like, nope, you want to do that. You want to document it. You want to record it. I have to remind myself of my own plan to record things. But I have to often remind myself of all my plans, so nothing new there. All right. 13, 14. 15. And be careful, you don't want it to get too like you want to still see the fine features. So try not to put so much glue that you're kind of like a few of them I've done this, the little individual legs have kind of turned into a big old clump. That's okay. But try if you can to keep some of the definition. As you add glitter, you kind of fuzz out some of the details, so I no longer have like the ridges in the tail quite as cleanly. That's a trade-off. That's just a thing that happens. All right, halfway there. Living on a prayer. Okay. But no, I do love a food themed throw. I find my favorite ones are shoe wise, are the ones that are really love letters to New Orleans. And the food here is so unique and wonderful. It's hard not to Love a shoe that captures one of your favorite foods or your favorite food experiences. 'Cause that's the thing. Not only do I love crawfish, I love a crawfish boil with people. I find if I give a hard little gust of air, it'll sort of break up the glue between the little leggies, and so I get some more definition back in the leggies. But on the ones where the leggies look okay, I'm not doing like a full second coat. Just trying to mostly get the body and like the top of the legs. Oh boy, oh boy. Do I have a I don't have a little squeezy. I probably do, but I need to find it. But I'll let the blue fully dry. I'm going to give myself a headache trying to control the placement to that degree. But if I find a little tube of white paint, I might do it anyway. All right. Jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. That would be a cute shoe. I don't know how I would make the jambalaya because we have fake rice at the store, but I don't know how to make it like that cooked reddish orangish color for jambalaya. Something to think about. I could make the jambalaya rice out of polymer clay if I mixed like translucent polymer clay with orange. I could do that. And that's a little wackadoo, but all things are kind of wackadoo. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh no, I can't do that. That's so much effort." And it's like it's all it's turtles all the way down. Ugh. Okay, 4 left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will have to make the transfers for the boil seasoning. I won't have to make transfers for the pot. All right, because when I said, oh, I need to do the pots, I will do the 2 boil pots that are going on the suspension pumps, but I'll wait and I need to pick up some fried chicken or check my stash for fried chicken because I like to do that big old like Zatarain's crab boil like tub pouring into the boil pot. So I used to be fascinated, like the amount of seasoning that went into it fascinated me as a child and kind of still. I had some crawfish in Memphis when I was living in Memphis, and they don't like cook them like that. They kind of boil them like lobsters, and then they do put some seasoning on top, so you do get some seasoning like flavor while you're eating, but it's not quite. And I mean, I had it at one place in Memphis, so possibly that one place didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm judging all of Memphis based on that, but I was not eager to repeat that experience, so I didn't. But the amount of seasoning that goes into it is fascinating. So, penultimate, penultimate crawfish, penultimate crustacean. Sounds like a rock band or an indie band. Do you want to listen to some penultimate crustacean? Final girl. Last girl standing. Right. Okay. That's our second tray done. Two trays of cray. Cray trays. All right. So that's everybody glittered. So I've got my crawfish are glittered, my shoes are glittered. Yeah, that's still too damp to do anything with, which is understandable. It has not been sitting very long. And a second coat takes longer to dry than a first coat. But look how pretty that little bit of Ceylon silver girl. Ooh, she big pretty. So this is going to be, oh, I also need to get some trim for her. Okay, so I've got 2 pots and 2 pumps and a bunch of crawfish. Oh, I was going to do the pots. Let me clean up a little bit and do the pots. Those crawfish do get a little messy. Not their fault. There are a lot of little nooks and crannies, and I was not necessarily super tidy. Okay. So for my boil pots, I like to use lovingly upcycled craft culture jars. So when they're empty, I do keep them to like put my blends in and stuff. It's a little pro trick. Um, but after a while, they're gunked up enough that I just don't think they're necessarily meant to hold glitter anymore. But they do not have to be done. They get to live on forever. So for my boil pots, I take the sticker off. You don't need to. You can glitter with the sticker right on there. But I do take the sticker off. I do throw the sticker out. These are ready to become boil pots. So I'm going to use, that's Guinness. I'm going to use Swords Before Lords, which we saw that online, a female artist. And it was like, it was kind of a, Ren Fair, Joan of Arc's kind of vibe. Bros before hoes. Swords before lords. Like, let's go do cool. Let's go fight cool knight stuff before we worry about a man, if you will. So Swords Before Lords is great. It's a true gunmetal gray. So I do the inside and then I need a spot to grip. So I grip it by the lip grip. And I do not do the bottom yet because I need to sit it down somewhere. And if I sit it down here, I've got too much glitter in the lip. It's going to stick to the paper. So this is the first phase. Woo! And I am getting the boil pots done, but not necessarily the crab boil, because I need the boil pots to be glittered to assemble, whereas I put the crab boil suspension on at the very end. So that's not going to hold me up much. All right, but I am going to do 2 because I'm doing 2. Do I want to try and do a third? No, I'm going to stick to it. I'm like, oh, I need to do 1 to replace my, let's see, I have 31. 31 is, no, the boil pots take more. No, it's fine. I'll stick to my original plan. I'll make up my quote unquote lost one later. There's still plenty of time. And it is totally worth it to me to celebrate and express my gratitude over on the Patreon. Patreon. Expecto Patronum. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's 2 little boil pots so far. And they're going to get another coat. I will probably do the next, I will probably hold it when this is dry. I will hold it by this. I will do the lip and the inside again, and then that will dry and I'll flip it over and I'll do the outside and the butt. And that I think will be my boil pots. So I've done the crawfish, I've done the boil pots, I've done the wrap. Yeah, you're still a little damp. That's okay. So yeah, that's going to be, you can see so much better. I will try to be more mindful of the camera angle, guys. Sorry. It's a work in progress. And so for the It's my solo cup. I'm gonna lid that. My silver still looks pretty good. Oh, whoops, I mixed up the, yeah, I mixed up my lids. My boil pot still looks pretty good. Yeah, so that's gonna be me today. We've started the boots, replacement boots, because our first pick for the boots got transferred over to ladies of the 80s duty. So next month is going to be berry baskets slash just farmers market baskets and some Lisa Frank vibes. That's going to be next month, but this month we are going to finish, and it's a nice manageable goal. Like I've got, let me do the thing where I'm like, all we have to do. So these still need to be finished glittering. So that's going to be at least probably 2 or 3 more sessions because it just got the first coat. It usually takes about 4 sessions to fully glitter. So, oh, but I don't really need to do 2 coats on the inside because I'm going to fill that. So probably 2 more sessions before these are done. So 2 more sessions, our boil pots will be done. Our crawfish are ready. Our veggies are ready. I want to get some paddles and do those. So we don't have the paddles yet, but that we can do later. And for the boil pots, you can just use a popsicle stick because you don't see. If you put the boil, sometimes I put the paddle. It's a big wooden spoon that looks, but the shape of it, it looks like a boil paddle. So sometimes I put the boil paddle, like imagine this is the boil paddle. Sometimes I put it outside the boil pot so that you can see it's the paddle. Sometimes I stick it in. And if you do that, you really only need a popsicle stick because only the handle shows. So let's see. This will be 2 more sessions. The pumps will be 2 more sessions because we got to do the red on the bottom and the heel, let it dry, and then the red on the bottom and the heel, let it dry. So that'll be 2 sessions. So we're 2 sessions away from our bases being done. And then we're 2 sessions away from our boil pots being done. And then somewhere in there, consecutive or concurrent, we got to make our little, I'm going to do a little thing of, no, I'm going to do a little thing. I was like, I got a different idea. Nope, that's not what we're doing. Thank you all for bearing with me. I was like, oh, what if I did hot sauce pouring in? It's like, nope, you don't pour a bottle of hot sauce into a boil pot. I got carried away and I was getting confused with like gumbo or red beans. That's the wrong vibe. A big old tub of crab oil. So I'm going to do this in the fried chicken color. I think that looks really good for the big old jugs of like Zatarans. And then I need to make a transfer that is blue and yellow and says Muses glitter or glitter shoes on it. So that I can suspend that into my big boil pot. And so in 2 sessions, all the pieces will be glittered. The crawfish will be glittered as soon as they're dry. So we're ready to roll on those. So crawfish are glittered. We're 2 sessions away from our bases and our boil pots being glittered. And so then we'll trim and assemble. So we're basically 3-4 sessions away from everybody being done, which is very reasonable because we've got about, let's see, we're like halfway through May. Yeah, we're like halfway through May. So we've got like 15 days, 4 sessions. Thank you all for the humiliation ritual of listening to me do math out loud. And thank you. I genuinely mean thank you for not judging me, which I hope you aren't. And if you are, that's fair. Got about 5, so like let's call it 16 days, 4 sessions, a session every 4 days. We've totally got that. That's not bad at all. I think I can do that. And also get a jump start on the fancy pants ones I'm doing next month. Because next month, those are going to be fancy pants ones. So I'm hoping that I can get a lot of sessions next month because I'll be home with my boys in the summer before they start to camp. So that's the plan, and hopefully the plan goes according to plan. And thank you all as always. So if you are one of my Patreon folks, go ahead and you're interested in being in the virtual shoe toss, go put your hands up in the comments on that post over there. And again, you do not need to be. It is not a money situation. I do not sell shoes. except I sell throws to muses, and that's a different thing. But I am not selling the shoes. I am not exchanging shoes for people to, put money up on Patreon. I do not want anyone to think it's that at all, because I think the magic is, it's important to me that that magic exists separate from, capitalism. Uh, but I am doing that shoe toss to celebrate getting 20 shoes into the shoe marathon, and the shoe marathon going so well. So thank you all so much. That's all I'm going to do today. All I'm going to do on this today, and I will be back very soon. And if you're coming to classes this weekend, I look forward to seeing you. And if you're coming to classes in the future, I look forward to seeing you. Thank you all so much. Have a great week and a great weekend.